Shalom Aleichem, this is Rabbi Kovacs, and Mishnah Yomi continues for Erev Shabbat Emor. We're beginning the fourth chapter of Sotah. Arusa. Arusa is a woman who's had the first stage of a Jewish marriage. She's had what we call Kiddushin. She's accepted a ring or an item of value. And the custom in ancient times was they would wait a few months or even a year between Kiddushin, Erusin, to Chuppah, or Nisuin, stage 2. So someone during this period, and Vishomeret Yavam, or a woman whose first husband passed away, there were no children, but he has a brother, and she's awaiting to see if the brother will perform Yibum and marry her as the sort of stand-in for the original deceased husband. So these women, lo shotot, they do not drink sotah water, v'lo notot ketuvah. They're also not entitled to take their ketuvah payment, shenemar, as the verse actually says, asher tiste, that the rules of sotah apply to a woman who strays, asher tiste isha, the woman strays, tachat isha, from with her husband. Now, if she's had erusin, she's a married woman, but she's not yet living with her husband until chuppah. If she's a shovimeret yavam, she has a bond to the brother, but they're not actually married. So the Mishnah says, prat, the arusa v'shomeret yavam. So this verse excludes a woman during erusin, before chuppah, and a woman awaiting yibum or chalitza. Now the Mishnah adds similar cases, almana, a widow, lekohen gadol, who is married to the Kohen Gadol. Now, the Kohen Gadol cannot marry a widow, but if he went ahead and did that forbidden marriage, they are legally married. And Grusha v'chalitza the Kohen Hedyot, similarly, a divorced woman or a woman who received chalitza instead of yibum cannot marry a regular Kohen. Mamzeret v'netina l'Yisrael, a female mamzer, illegitimate child, or a natin, that's one of the givonim, who famously were very cruel, and David the Melech decreed they cannot join the Jewish people, and they married a regular Jewish man, or vice versa, Bat Yisrael, a regular Jewish girl, and it could be, of course, Kohen Levi Yisrael, Lamamzer Notin, married an illegitimate boy, or a Givoni, a Notin. So in these cases, the marriage itself is forbidden. Now, they're legally married. It's not like a case of incest, God forbid, or rayos, but this marriage, we do not want it to go on. So she can't actually return to the husband even if she's proven innocent. Therefore, lo shotot, she cannot drink the water. For lo notlot ketuvah, she also does not collect payments. They simply have to get divorced, and she does not receive a ketuvah. Now, Mishnah Bet adds to this, ve'elu, and these type of women, no matter what their background is, lo shotot, they do not drink the mei sotah, the mayim hamarim, for lo notlot ketuvah. They're also not entitled to take their divorce payment. They simply get divorced without it. These are ha'omeret tameya ani. When she gets to the temple, she admits that she was unfaithful with the husband. So obviously the marriage cannot continue, but since she's admitted, we don't need to check her with the sotah ritual. Shabau lo edim shi tameya, or witnesses came and say we saw an act of infidelity on her part. Now, if they had actually warned her and given the man and woman in question a halachically, legally significant warning, they could be executed by the court if the testimony checks out. In this case, they were not warned, but there were witnesses to their adulterous act. Va'omeret eini shota, or a woman who says, I'm not going to drink the water, I don't want to go through with it, even though she's not admitting that she was unfaithful. Now, in these above cases, it's really the woman's fault or her unwillingness to go through with it. Now, the Mishnah contrasts that if it's the man's fault, Amar Bala, her husband says, Eini Mashke. He says, I don't want to go through with the ritual and give her the potion to drink. I want to have mercy on her, and I don't want to actually do the test. Or Shabala Ba'ala B'derech. Or the husband and wife were intimate on the way to Yerushalayim. Recall in the first chapter, we said they would send people with them and say, you shouldn't do that, because if you do that, the test won't work and you won't be allowed to stay married. So in these cases, no telet ketuvata velo shota. She does get her ketuvah because it's really the husband's fault that she cannot go through with the test, but she cannot drink the potion and be tested. Finally, what about a case of metu balehen ad shelo shatu? Women whose, they were warned and they were on the way to Yerushalayim, and the husband passed away before they could go through with the ritual and drink the sotah water. Beit Shammai says, notlot ketubah velo shotot. They do get paid their ketuvah. We have to sort of prove, think that they're innocent until proven guilty, but they should not drink the sotah water. Obviously, the husband is deceased. There's no question she can go back to the husband. Beit Hillel omrim, lo shotot, lo notot ketubah. Rabbi Hillel says, they can't drink the water because the husband's not here anymore, but they also don't get paid the Ketubah because typically a woman who was warned as a Sotah but then cannot go through with the process for whatever reason typically does not take the Ketuvah. And after all, it's not the husband's fault. He passed away before the test could be administered. Good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom.